Welcome back. You're watching the Power Breakfast Show. This morning, I want to talk about politics of the day. What's been making news what's been making news. And in studio, we're joined by Honorable Johanna Ngeno. He's the Member of Parliament for Emurua Dikir. And any questions you might be having in regards to their conversation, 22422 is the SMS line, or you can get us on Twitter. The hashtag is Power Breakfast. For now, I hand you over to Mutegi Njau. Mutegi?
Good morning, Mheshimiwa. Thank you. Very good.
Good morning.
It looks like a South Rift and part of Masai Land is revolting. In fact, there was an altercation where you're involved with the governor of Narok and the deputy president was there. Maybe you can start by telling us what that incident, what happened.
What I would say is that I think there is a new renaissance, a new kind of thinking in the Rift Valley. Something that I would say it could be a kind of a revolt or a rebellion, but I think there is something that has arisen out of frustrations by the people of Rift Valley, especially after several elections that they have been undertaking, and when they compare the kind of dedication they have had with the leaders who they have been electing for some times, vis-a-vis the kind of work they have done, I think people are dissatisfied, and that is exactly what I think is happening in Rift Valley. What do you say?
One of them who were elected.
Yes, I'm one of them.
I'm one of them.
No, not quite. Not quite. You know, this one depends on, of course, also on where you come from, the background that you come from. If in your constituency you have a rebellion, then that shows what you've been doing is not right. If you come from a country where the people have decided to revolt against you, then it means what you've been doing is not right. If you come from a region where, of course, one particular leader comes from, then it means, and people are rebelling, that it means that people are not satisfied with what you've been doing. What we witnessed in Kilgore actually was very unfortunate, because if you are to follow the footage of my statements, of the sentiments actually I made there, you won't have imagined the reaction from such a person of governor's position to react the way he did, because actually what I asked them as a leader, as one of the leaders, and this is actually, it was because of the pressure from the people that I say what they wanted me to say, and that is to tell them politely that people are very disappointed. There has been a very serious disappointment, because we claim that we are from the government. I mean, we are from Jubilee. We supported the government, but when you look at what is happening in the ground, is that there is completely nothing to reflect or to show that we actually elected a government. And that is what I told them. I told them people are very disappointed.
No. I had. To me, it looks like there is a difference between the governor and the family of Ntutu. The family of Ntutu claims nothing has been done, including you. You are in that group.
But I'm not a family of Ntutu.
I mean that political faction. They are questioning this removal of some certain appointees.
Yes.
People who have been appointed and removed.
Yeah.
But others have been appointed.
Well,
not necessarily belong to them.
I think the discontent is not necessarily, not per se, the people have been removed. It is actually the way the system has been working. Remember,
what is wrong?
Remember, Ndutus and most of the Narok leadership belong to Jubilee. They were elected in Jubilee, and actually, including the governor himself, and they were elected on the basis of being in Jubilee, and actually the promises they made to the people. And then the people who are appointed to the government were appointed courtesy of the agreement between them and the Jubilee at that particular time. Now, when those people were appointed, and then later on they were sacked without serious reason,
they were incompetent. And the others were appointed.
What was the measure for incompetency? And why is it that it is the two of them? Why not the rest of the country? It means you want to tell us that at the moment of their appointment they were competent, and then at the time of
find they're incompetent and sack them. That's
well, I would say I would not say that was a measure. That was a good measure to show that whether these people were competent or not competent. What I believe is that there was a political hand in that sacking, which means because when you look at how is it possible that these were the two contestants also? These were also contestants for the gubernatorial position. Musuni was a contestant in the Narok election. Conchela was also a contestant in the Narok election.
Yeah.
And then immediately after the election, they were appointed to those positions.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at it, it was like when you look at how they were removed, it was like there was an arrangement by the governor and the government at that particular point that their appointment was meant to quell the urge for competition in that gubernatorial position, and maybe in the 2 years or 2.5 years. There was still the voice of those people who wanted maybe to remove the governor was still there, and maybe it's like he was disappointed that the people who were appointed to those positions to quell those uprisings did not do that. So when you look at how they were sacked, it doesn't look like they were sacked because of incompetence. I think it looks like they were sacked because the purpose for which maybe the government wanted them to be there was not actually fulfilled. They could not quell the rebellion against the Narok County governor, and especially the government. So I think, and this one cannot be reduced to Ntutus, because after all, Musuni is not an Ntutu family. Dalton Conchela is not an Ntutu family. It's from another clan.
But isn't it a fact that Ntutu's son wants to run for governor?
And that is why the reason was these two gentlemen were sacked. No, it is not. It is not because of that. Because even actually as we speak, Musuni, who was the PS, is in competition with one of the Ntutus for the gubernatorial position. So it has no serious relationship. So I think our complaint, and majorly the leadership of Narok, was only why was Musuni and John Conchela sacked without a reason. They were not involved in any graft. They have not been known to have participated in any graft in any way, in one way or the other. They have not been known to be tribal or nepotists. We have seen several people who've been involved in so many traits of corruption.
Okay, fine.
And they have never been sacked.
Let's move ahead.
Yep.
Apart from the appointments, what is the major complaint about the government by Narok leaders?
Well,
those who are complaining.
I think
what is it that not fulfilled that was promised?
What I would say is that, like you said, there could be some incompetence in some leadership, and I think the most serious incompetence in Narok is the governor himself. Narok is one of the richest counties in this country. Remember, it is number 3. Rated as number 3 after Nairobi and Mombasa because of the revenues that they collect from that particular region. But when you look at Narok, the level of poverty in Narok is rising day by day. The citizens are not getting anything either from the national government or from even the revenues they collect.
Of the revenue that comes from the
Masai Mara.
No, 19% of it is given to the people, the community.
Forget even about the 19%. Before you even reach the 19%, it is 19% of what? Like
of the collection.
Every year, the government of Narok collects over 5 billion Kenya shillings
from the game reserve.
From the game reserve. And that is when you look at Bomet County, for example, it collects around majorly between 100 or 120 million per year, which are peanuts. But Bomet County relies on allocation from the national government, just like also Narok has an allocation from the national government. But when you look at the amount of money they get from the national government and the money now combined from the Masai Mara, it becomes almost 3 times the amount which Bomet gets. But when you go to Bomet and compare with what is happening in Narok, you cannot imagine Narok is a county. You can only imagine that maybe it is a county which doesn't even have anything. We are looking at how much money is coming from the national government, which is around 5 billion every year. and look at the work which has been done in Narok County, nothing. You look at the amount of money we collect from Masai Mara, and look at the work which is done in Narok County, nothing. When you come to 19%, 19% is just a mere 19% of the 5 billion we collect from Masai Mara. Where is the 19% supposed to be utilized? There is no structure as we speak that actually shows how this 19% is meant to be utilized. But when you look at the initial intention, the 19% was meant to be used to assist students who are going for studies, scholarships. It was meant actually to cater for secondary and university education for the Maasai children or the people of Narok. It was meant to cover for the medical expenses. It was meant to it was meant to meet both education and social needs of the people. But when you look at that, as we speak, there's nothing. Then you can be proud of having 19% in that constituency, in that county.
Your main complaints are against the Narok governor. You are not against Jubilee itself.
I'm not, okay, on matters of Jubilee.
We are saying as if the rebellion is against Jubilee government. Whereas it should be against...
When you look at the rebellion in South Rift, don't look at Narok in isolation.
Yes,
don't look at Narok in isolation.
Yeah, in South Rift.
When you look at South Rift in isolation, I mean in
Narok in isolation,
you will see a serious revolt against the government. That is the national government, the Jubilee government. But when you look at Narok, there is a rebellion against the governor. When you look at Bomet, maybe there is no rebellion against the Bomet governor. When you look at, those are different levels. But if we were to discuss Narok, the rebellion is by the people of Narok against the governor of Narok for what he hasn't done. And that is actually what I told him in Kilgoris. And it is not the governor himself alone. I told the deputy president that people are disappointed. I told the governor that people are disappointed. Like when you go to most of the hospitals in our county, expectant mothers are asked when they are coming to the hospital to come with gloves, to come with all those materials which are being used in a maternity wing, to come with even needles, even drugs they are being told to go and buy. And that is what I was asking. And instead somebody is telling me that why would you want to know even that, and yet you're not part of that scheme. I am a representative of the people of the Murwadigal, and it doesn't matter what my status is. What matters is I represent a people who have problems, and those problems must be stated by the person who represents them. When you come to the national government, when you come to Jubilee, for example, when you look at the voting trend in Narok, Bomet, Kericho, and even North Rift, you realize that these are people who really voted for the government. They dedicated their votes to the government. But when you compare the amount of work which has been done in those particular areas, I will tell you, we have nothing to be proud of. And that is why people are rebelling against the government. That is why people are complaining that Jubilee government has totally ignored their plight.
Are they against Jubilee government or against the merger, the scrapping of a party and forming a Jubilee party?
I would think because I'm also part of that merger. I'm part of the Jubilee coalition. I would think the reason why people have stated clearly, although most of the leaders don't listen to this, the reason why people have stated clearly that we are not going to jump to that merger is, number one, what do we have as we speak that can even make us move to the new political dispensation? What they are saying is we are not satisfied with the coalition itself in the first place. What is making us now be proud to move to the next level? Like, we had a merger. We had a coalition of TNA, URP, and then also post-election coalition with other parties, including my party.
Which is your party?
My party is KNC, which of course we entered an agreement with Jubilee.
Yeah.
The question people are asking is, are we satisfied with where we are before we even move to the next level? The question is the government, is the promise, are the Jubilee, the URP manifesto, has it been implemented to the letter? Has TNA manifesto been implemented to the letter? The answer is no. And people are saying, why then do we want to do a merger? Why then do we want to do a more development? It's like you have a fiancé. You have a girlfriend, for example. You stay with her for some time, and then you've been having trouble. You cannot even sit together, you cannot even talk together, and then the question is it right to move to the next level? And one of the partners can say, well, we may not marry because we cannot even agree at our initial level.
Yeah.
But you cannot force that marriage to happen unless the two individuals have even that agreement, that arrangement of being together. And this is exactly what we are seeing in Jubilee. The merger, people are asking, we are not even...
Is the alternative therefore to go to Kanu or to ODM? If you are not interested in being in that marriage, is that the alternative to go and look for another girl?
Well, like you know, there is divorce. The reason why we have divorce is is to allow you to look for another alternative.
Yeah.
So you cannot say, do we die because we cannot agree with this marriage? Do we kill each other? No. There is room for divorce. There is room for separation. There is room to look for another alternative. Life must go on. And this is exactly what is happening in Rift Valley. People are saying, well, if the leadership has forced the system, if they themselves have decided that they are going to dissolve URP, they are going to dissolve these other parties, then what else do you do? You cannot go to court. You cannot. Court is not an alternative. But an alternative is that which other party is friendly to their needs, and maybe some of them have looked at KANU as an alternative. Others have formed new parties like Mashinani Party of Kenya. Me myself, I'm in KNC, and I'm still comfortable in KNC, and I'm very happy my party leader has not merged with Jubilee. It is not actually part of the arrangement that we are going to form a coalition. We are going to remove our party so they can become one party. So we still have so many alternatives. Alternative is not saying we are going to this party. Alternative is saying what will the people who want to contest in the next election use as their vehicle. Because one, in Kenya we have not had a very serious democracy in parties, especially on matters of nominations.
Yeah.
There is no single party in this country which has laid down serious structures for nomination, so that in every other nomination there is an outcry of maybe rigging, maybe favoring one candidate, maybe using each and every crude method to make the preferred candidate to win the seat. Now those people who are the people's choices, where will they go to? Suppose in the whole of Rift Valley we only have one party. Suppose in the whole of Central we only have one party. Suppose those people who may not be in good terms with the system are rigged out of these particular parties. Where will they go? And those ones have been declared as this party zone. What will happen? And this is why people are rebelling, saying that we cannot join this party. Also, as a second issue, the second issue is we are not joining these parties unless we have seen very serious structures in place that will allow for proper nomination, free and fair nomination done in these parties. Because people would want to have an alternative. If this party nomination is done irregularly, where will we go after that? Or we are going to be contented with the person who has been rigged. People cannot allow that. People will have to have an alternative, an option where they can go to. And that is exactly why people are saying we are not in agreement in the way you are moving. And also, of course, when you are doing something, you must do it through consultation. These leaders have not even called all these other parties. They have not called even the interested parties in the ground. They have not started this idea from the grassroots. They started from up, trying to drop it down. The people in the grassroots are saying, when did we decide that we want to merge these parties?
No, there's a former MP from Central Province who was here yesterday.
Yes.
He kind of suggested that the campaign for this merger is much more pronounced in Central Province and Eastern Mount Kenya area, and not Rift Valley. That song is not being very hard in Rift Valley. But when William Ruto comes to Rift Valley, he doesn't speak much of that. Is that true or not true?
Well, it is not true. I'll say it is not true per se, because he normally preaches there when he comes. The only problem is, I think what Ruto has sensed is that there is a more discontent in the Rift Valley than in the Central Province. I think when you look at the Central Province, people are kind of more in agreement with the new merger than in Rift Valley. So I think the reason why he's not seriously campaigning in Rift Valley is because he feels people already are not even satisfied with moving there, and people are not already satisfied even with the government itself. So I think he's trying to tread carefully there so that he doesn't break the agreement he had with the people, or even the trust he has with the people. So I think he's trying to use the central, which is more.
Why are people in Rift Valley dissatisfied with the deputy president? He has all the power, he has everything. He is never encumbered by the president. Why are they unhappy with him?
I think you know, people of Rift Valley have been in government before for many years.
Yeah, 24.
They have been in government for 24 years.
Yeah.
They were also in Kenyatta's government,
yes,
which is the former president. And in one way or another, they were also in Kibaki's government, in a coalition partnership. These people know when they're in government. They feel when they're in government. But between 2013 and now, as we speak, even if you were to ask a kid in the village, they won't even identify themselves with the government. You ask an old man or an old woman, they won't even identify themselves with the government because they don't feel it. They don't even know they are in government because there is nothing to reflect in the ground that shows you are in the government. You are only in the government as a name.
They have cabinet. In fact, when you are talking like that, what would people in Western Nyanza talk about? You have very many cabinet secretaries, very many principal secretaries.
Yes.
Many.
Yes.
When you say they are not in government, what do you mean?
You know, being in cabinet,
in Nyanza, the whole of Nyanza has got one cabinet secretary.
Yes, I know. I understand.
And in Western only two. You have many. Why? What do you say? You are not in government?
I think being in government does not mean actually getting appointments from the government.
What does it mean?
Actually, the appointments we have in the government, the Rift Valley has got one of the largest shares.
Yeah.
But that is not the point.
What's the point?
The point is, even having those positions amidst us, has it changed anything in where we come from, in the regions that we came from?
What do you expect?
We are expecting development. We are expecting development matters in our county.
But the development money has been devolved to counties.
But not all of them. Not all of them. And that is why I'm saying, when you look at...
Don't blame your governors, not the central government, not the national government.
No, that one I think, we only blame the governors on matters which have been devolved, like hospitals, like a certain level of hospitals, levels of roads, levels of on other matters. We can blame the governors on that. But remember, we are giving governors only 35%. We are remaining with around 65%. In fact, we are talking about 35% in theory, but the reality is that we are giving governors not more than 20%. We are remaining with around 85% in the national government, and that is billions and billions of money. Like, for example, we normally budget over 130 billion for roads, for infrastructure, which is roads and those other activities. But when you go to my county, for example, how much have I gotten from the national government in the 130 billion I've always been budgeting in every year? How much have we gotten in Narok? How much have we gotten in Kajiado? How much have we gotten in Kericho? How much have we gotten in Bomet? That is the question people are asking. Where is this 130 billion going? It is going to some other regions. Where is the money we allocate for health going? Where is the money we allocate for other activities going? So we cannot just blame. We cannot just say we have devolved most of the development. Yet we still have money that we remain with in the national government, and it's not working in the counties and constituencies. And this is what people are asking. Jubilee government, you've told us you will deliver this. You will do this road. You will do this dam. You will do this whatever, and nothing has been done.
Why am I hearing all those complaints? I saw a story in the newspaper today. From yesterday, the other day it was Kirinyaga. Today it was Rakanizi. People saying you promised these roads, you don't get them. We are not happy.
True.
Why am I hearing this from Jubilee counties? Not in Nyanza, not in the coast.
You know Nyanza and coasts believe they are in the opposition.
Yeah.
And therefore, like I was reading in the newspaper today, the deputy president telling Malindi people that vote for this candidate if you want development to come to your region. So it means development are only associated with Jubilee or the government. But then
the government in power.
Yeah. And that should not be the issue. The issue should be development should be equally distributed in the whole country. That is a very big blunder to have come from a very big leader. But then that is not even the point. The point is we are telling these people to vote Jubilee so that they can get development, and yet in the regions which voted Jubilee 100% are complaining they don't development. You know, these people have just been telling us we have put money. Tumeweka pesa hapa, tumetenga pesa hapa, tumetenga pesa kufanya hii. And yet people have waited. This road we are launching next month. They have waited. This road we have tendered. We are opening tenders next month. They have waited. Next month comes, another month comes, another year comes, nothing is happening. So people are complaining. They're saying, we are almost ending the year. We have nothing to tell the people we actually marshaled to vote for this government. What are we going to tell them in the next year? And this is actually the question I was asking the Deputy President in Kilgoris. Your Excellency, what will I tell these people in the next election? They have nothing. You've told them this road will come up to here. There is nothing which is happening. You've told them there is going to be this dam. You've told them there is going to be this issue. Nothing has happened. Instead, I think the mistake the Jubilee government did was to centralize the use of money. For example, centralizing to the extent that they are using almost all the budget money to build a railway or for lapset or something like that, which of course has a very long-term economic value to the country. But when you look at down there, that value will come at another generation. What will these people down there be doing at that moment, between now and that time when the railway will be in use to the country? This is where people are complaining. What are we having? Why are we budgeting all our money to a central point? Why are we not having, like if we were to dispute 130 billion, they would have said, let's have each and every county have this number of kilometers of roads. Like they've been telling us about, we are going to build 10,000 kilometers of roads, tarmac roads in the country. Not even a single kilometer has been done. They reduced again 5,000 kilometers. They haven't done even one single kilometer. And then as we speak now, they are telling us of only 3,000 kilometers of roads we are going to do before Jubilee government lapse. My friend, not even a single kilometer has been launched. What exactly is happening? That is what people are asking. That's why when you go to central, people are already, and this is something which is going to happen in this country, my friend. There is going to be a very serious rebellion against this government, both from the Rift Valley, who voted Jubilee 100%, and Central Province, who voted Jubilee 100%. Wait for this Kericho thing. The Kericho thing is not even much about we want to move to another party, we want to move to this. It is about a dissatisfaction, a disappointment from a government we voted 100%. What exactly is happening? It is like they're asking the government, are you really listening? But
isn't it kind of ungrateful? You have a senator who has been promoted to be made a cabinet secretary instead of the people of that county being happy. Ask yourself this very good question. Ask yourself this very good ingratitude. Ask one voter, a very small guy, a very young guy in the village, asked that question yesterday. Actually, he asked this question: if the government really loved us, and if they love this gentleman they have given a Jubilee ticket, if they tell us he has all the qualities to vie, to be a leader, to lead us, why didn't they appoint him as a cabinet secretary? Why did they have to come and remove a senator, appoint him, and then come and remove another young man and try to make him a senator? The question is, if this young man has the qualities to lead, to be a senator, to legislate, to be a leader, why didn't they appoint him as a cabinet secretary and leave the senator to work as a senator? That is a question people are asking. So when you tell us it is a favor for us to have been given a position of overseers, it is a favor to the person who made that appointment, because when you look at the appointment, it is personal. It is personal. He actually awarded his friend for the good work he has been doing together. So it is not a people's choice. If you were to ask the people, who do you want, like if they were to ask them, we are having a position of a cabinet secretary. I mean, the ones who were serving could not go back. We have vacant 3, 4, 5 vacant positions. Who, in your opinion, do you think we should give these positions? The people of Kericho would not have actually fronted the man who is serving now as a CS. They would not. And that is why even the rebellion that we have down there is, one, remember the Deputy President was there just the other day, seeking for forgiveness from the people of Kericho for what he did. One, the appointments which have been done all along are in one way or another related to only one single person, and that single person is the one constituency.
one constituency, relatives. You know, even when you go to that constituency, people are even still asking exactly what happened. We have, you know, people are claiming that these people are from this constituency, but even if you go to that constituency, they will tell you they are not actually, they are from the constituency, but they are from one family. So the question is, what would have happened if that boy was appointed, if that gentleman was appointed as a CS? What would have happened? It would not have even made all this, you know, it would have even given people this situation we're having right now.
Anyway, so that we don't seem to be campaigning against the margin.
Against the candidate, yeah.
We had invited Dennis Waweru, who is a member for Dagoretti South, I don't know whichever, and he called this morning to say he is unwell. We would have had a balanced view because I think he supports the merger. But there is somebody here who says that, who is asking you, why are you also being ungrateful? Honorable Ngeno, yes. Don't you think you are assisted by the Deputy President to become an MP?
No, I'm not URP. I'm KNC.
Yes, but
the Deputy President had a candidate in my constituency, a URP candidate, who contested hotly against me. I had 17,000 against 7,000 of URP. So if the gentleman was a friend, he would have said, okay, Ngeno, because you have been a very good friend of the Murwadigiri people of Transmara and a friend of ours, we are not going to field a candidate. That is when I would have said, I'm very grateful. But because I contested against a very powerful candidate who Jubilee actually fronted, then that gentleman who said, I am ungrateful, I would like to tell him that I contested against the Deputy President's candidate in my constituency.
Two people actually. Honorable Ngano, please stop complaining about national government. This is the same question the governor asked you. What have you done with the CDF millions? I
will tell you what I've done.
Mwingine anasema wewe umefanyia nini constituency yako? And in 2017 Jubilee will win. Tuambie umefanya nini?
Yes. I would like to tell those great people who are asking me those questions. I wish them to visit Murwadigiri. What I've done in Murwadigiri in the last 3 years, has not been done in Murwadigiri for the last 50 years. We had independence. I've built schools. So that as we speak, you cannot go to any single school and being told there is no CDF project. You can ask them. If there is any single school that doesn't have a classroom or 2 classroom, laboratory, dormitory in my constituency, I've even asked those people that if there is any primary school or secondary school which will not have gotten any money from CDF, which I oversight, don't vote me in that school. So when you know, even the governor himself was I think he was hard pressed to explain, like if he was to come to my constituency and tell people that this gentleman has not done anything. I've done so many things. I built even hospitals. I built even bridges. I built one bridge that cost over 34 million. I built roads, over 11 roads. Although some of them are not complete, but at least they are completely accessible by the people of Murwadigiri. You come to Murwadigiri, I would wish even this station does they come to my constituency to do at least to show what I've done in Murwadigiri. I'm proud of Murwadigiri. I'm proud of what I've done, and people of Murwadigiri are proud of what I've done. The reason why even some people are very unhappy about it is because whenever they come, they're being told, the MP has done this through this CDF. What have you done? He has small money. You have not done this. He has done this. You have not done this here. He's done this. You have not done this here. He's done this. To the extent of even I have completed some of the incomplete projects, which were initially done by Latif, and Latif was inherited by the county governments. There are so many classrooms which I have completed for them. I've assisted them to complete because they have remained open. They have remained incomplete. And I asked our committee to look into ways of making sure that we completed those classrooms which should have been completed by the county government, because the county government inherited all the former county councils' properties and the activities which they had. So the question of whether I've done anything or no, I've done. Well, I've not done enough, but I've done something which people of Murwadigiri are proud of, and I'm happy about that.
So according to you, the merger is not going to take place?
The JAP the JAP thing.
Yeah,
I will not wish to. I will not wish them. I would not say that. I would not wish them bad luck, but it is not something that is a priority in our region. It is not. Something priority in our region is delivery of services. And you know, there is a time when all of us will be marked according to what you have done.
A bill is coming to Parliament. In fact, I think it's been published there. That is going to facilitate that merger. It's a bill that is going to be debated this week. What's your position about that? Since you go to Parliament and you're a member of Parliament.
Yeah, I won't allow that to happen. Of course, I will definitely be against it. You know, parties are you know, okay, although we have a bill in Parliament that we must fund political parties, that political parties act. But we cannot have a bill that will assist us to merge parties. You know, merging of parties depends on the people or the people who belong to those parties. You cannot force it on the people. Unless the people themselves agree that we're going to merge these parties, we cannot facilitate. As a government, we cannot allow to do a budget to facilitate merger of parties. It is like we are budgeting an activity that is against, that will be against the wishes of the people. Why would we do that? And I think what that person who brought that bill should have done instead, they should have looked over a bill that will allow serious democracy in parties, so that how do we make these parties very democratic? How do we make their activities very democratic? How do we make their elections or nominations free and fair, so that anybody who goes for a nomination in any party is comfortable after the outcome or before and after the outcome of that nomination?
Somebody is asking you that you are complaining. There are so many cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries from the Rift Valley, and you are not happy. Suppose they came from Western.
You know, it is not about, you know, we are not saying we are not happy about the appointments. We are not complaining about the appointments. What we are complaining, you know the reason why we do an election. The reason why we do an election is because a certain person through a party has a manifesto that when you elect me, when you look at even their manifesto, I think the question of appointment comes at the tail end. But the first manifesto is development. I will do this number of roads, I will do this number of hospitals, I will do this number of schools, I will do, you know, those are the things which people want. The question of employment, is coming at the tail end. After all, when you talk about an employee, a civil servant, that is only an individual, and he benefits or she benefits directly to the family. But what is the community, what is the society, what is the country benefiting from that position? If, for example, you give me a position of a minister for roads, a CS for roads, for example, and you don't give me money to go and do roads, as per the manifesto, as per the Jubilee manifesto, what will that position be, or what usefulness is that position to the community where you come from, or from the region where you come from? Nothing.
I don't understand why you say there's no money. We had the Eurobond. What's up? That money was put in development projects.
I think Eurobond was just Eurobond is just another scandal.
It's a scandal, correct?
Yeah. Okay. I think it is money for campaigns. People have just put it somewhere, stashed it somewhere for campaigns, and the only time we will see Eurobond is when campaigns are there. And that is why we are seeing Eurobond in Kericho. That is why we saw Eurobond in Nyangores, in Bomet. That is why we are seeing Eurobond in Malindi. That is the only time you will see Eurobond. But on matters of development, roads, hospitals and nothing, you will not see Eurobond. So don't wait. Wait until campaigns come is when you will see Eurobond.
If that is the position, then it's very unfortunate. And I think members of public should know that that money was not intended for campaigns. It was intended for development. And with those few remarks, we will take a short break. After that, we'll go to listen to the music.